Hey everybody, Jim Sammons here from the Kayak Fishing Show. Welcome to our weekly broadcast, our weekly show. All of a sudden I've got some sound here. I told you to turn off noise and I have noise. Welcome to the Kayak Fishing Show. This week we are going to be talking with my good friend, James McBeath. He's the head of marketing from Jackson Kayak, Orion Coolers, and the new Blue Sky Boatworks. And we're going to be talking to him about all things kayaking, fishing, whatever else. James is also an excellent fly angler. So if you have any questions on that respect, Joey Pruitt, welcome. Andy Watt, how you doing, man? Hope you guys can all tune in. Remember, for this, we will be giving away some swag. And if you want to get some of that swag, remember to like, comment, share, and win. Look at that. So right now, with no further ado, I'm going to bring on James McBeath. And there's James.
Is that you, Jim? Yeah, we're.
If you didn't notice, James is in the frozen north of Canada, eh?
How's it going, eh?
It's going good down here. I'm at about 75, 80 degrees. That would be Fahrenheit.
Yeah, we're not.
You're not?
We had let's see, minus 32 and snowing today.
Is it really?
Yep, that's a good day. We're going skating later. It's going to be fun.
I'm so not going skating today.
I'm just opening the windows. It's getting hot in here. Let me just. There we go.
So if you want,
how's everybody?
If you need ice for your cocktail, you just need to reach out the door and go get some.
Absolutely. That's why we pay $50 for a cooler here in Canada. We just put it outside, but who keeps beer cold for more than 4 minutes?
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of beer there, Jim, this show is sponsored by Big Papa from Stallworth's. There we go.
Actually, this show is sponsored by Ballast Point Brewing Company here in San Diego. And if it's not sponsored by Ballast Point, cheers. Cheers, I'm going the wrong way. If it's not sponsored by Ballast Point, it is sponsored by Death Wish Coffee Company. Because basically, if I'm not drinking one, I am drinking the other.
Or
coffee or beer. So, yeah, or both. Coffee-flavored beer. Beer-flavored coffee.
It's like a porter.
So anyway, as an introduction to my good friend, James McBeath. James, tell us your story. Tell us how you got involved with Jackson Kayak.
Well, that goes way back a few years. My professional life is kind of a parallel universe. I had kind of an IT side. I kind of followed a French-Canadian girl to Montreal, didn't speak a word of English, ended up in the IT world somewhere because of my degree in communications and computer science. And at the same time, I was an avid whitewater kayaker. And 15 years later, I grew a company to about 145 employees in the web marketing world. And on the other side of my personality, the whitewater world kind of blew up. I met Eric Jackson back in 93, 94. I started projects probably in 96, 97 in the whitewater world. And those two worlds kind of went parallel. And right around the 2000s, I started a company called Breathe Productions, and I was marketing heavily to the adventure sport enthusiast, using my skills derived from the IT world and marketing general, with my passion for the outdoors. And EJ started this little company, and the rest is history.
Yeah, that little company has really blown up, particularly once it got into they were always, with EJ, president of the company, Whitewater, world champion, all that. But things really started blowing up once you got into the fishing world. It's just such a bigger market.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Whitewater is definitely a smaller market than fishing. It's a very active market. There's a lot of, there's still, for a market that size, there's a lot of active manufacturers in it. But it's a very enthusiast-based grassroots kind of movement, if you will, versus an entire industry. Andrew Mahone of our team is saying we should be drinking Guinness. You are indeed correct. That is the next phase. But when we kind of hooked up with Drew and got into the fishing world, everything changes. Fishing is the number one pastime in America, especially. There's not a lot of leisure / outdoors activities that is bigger in any kind of number than fishing. So it's obviously going to change all of our lives once we got into that, for sure.
Oh, for sure. And the fact that, I mean, because the sport has grown so much, there now really is a kayak for everybody. I mean, obviously Jackson Kayak makes the very best fishing kayak in the world, the Kraken. I mean, there is nothing better.
I was going to say there's no James Kayak, but whatever.
But there is a kayak for everybody, for every fishing situation, for every size person.
Yeah.
So there's a couple new boats coming out, and that's kind of what we wanted to do today, was talk about the new boats.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's not talk about fishing or kayaking anymore. Let's talk about what's not being called a kayak, Blue Sky Boatworks, which is a subsidiary, another brand coming out through Jackson Kayak, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
This thing has me really intrigued. I mean, I got to admit that I know that the whole thought process is like for bass fishermen and all that. I'm sorry. This thing has me intrigued for a lot of different stuff. Very, very cool.
So we have a kind of unique story. I'm just kind of getting, ready to launch this project as a whole. There's a bunch of stuff that's kind of new to what we've done before. Kind of the baseline was the kind of what I mentioned earlier. You've got a lot of fishermen out there, and there's a good portion of the population of fishermen that kind of look at a kayak as a kayak. The word kayak, conjures up all sorts of mythological imagery in someone's head. Am I going to walk off a bass boat and get into a kayak? That's a big leap. There's so many different, so much different imagery you have of the word kayak and what a kayak is. It's, it could be unstable, but isn't that something that they circumnavigate things with? It's just a thing. But it's also about the size. It's also about comfort. It's also about stability. It's a bunch of stuff. We're getting better as a kayak fishing community and manufacturer group of making sure a lot of those answers, a lot of those questions and hesitations are answered to. But there is a middle ground, and that's Blue Sky Boatworks. Blue Sky was kind of the brainchild of a really kind of a unique select group of forward thinkers. Not even sure what names I can release, but Jim Brown, who's a legendary multi-hull designer, got involved. Andy Zed and a few others kind of came to us with this idea, a bunch of sketches on a piece of paper, and said, look, we think this is going to be really cool. We've got performance. You guys are into the pedal drive. So all of a sudden you've got something that's like that's one of the reasons Hobie's does so well is the leg muscle is a lot more appealing in use, if you will, than the arm muscle. The arms or backs or necks or, every other problem in the world can follow through. But the leg is kind of a thing. People are used to riding bikes. They get onto a bike before they get into a kayak. And that's been a big philosophical debate, but that's where I stand anyway. And I'm usually right. Cheers, bud. So Blue Sky came about with that kind of vision in mind. And almost by default, and the people bringing that vision to us were kind of really brilliant. And what they did was created a hull system combined with the pedal drive system that made a lot of sense in how to get around. The hulls themselves are designed by literally one of the best historically in the industry. The pedal drive is, as you know, doing really well in regards to getting towards the lead in technology and all that kind of stuff. You combine the two. And then the third element is the fishability side of things. The other thing that we kind of did right out of the box, and we like to do a lot, is make sure that everything we want to have to improve the fishability and the customization of our boats, of our fishing experience, is well at hand. It's right there. The gear tracks, we're quick, if not first to that, high-low seating, all these things that made your personal experience fishing adjustable and customizable is part of our inner core. And the Blue Sky gives us literally 30 square feet of customization. 30 square feet. It's like, all of a sudden we're like, dude, this is like, well, what do we do with all this space? We got hulls there. If you can see that top shot, that there's 2 hatches. You could stick like 80 rods in the stupid thing. It's just, there's just so much space. And all of a sudden, out of the the confines of the kayak comes this bigger boat area, and that comes with, you can walk around right up to the tip. I got photos of EJ walking to the tip of these boats. Storage, the front and back part of that we call the porches. The 2 black pieces there you see on that top shot. You put full loaded coolers in that thing.
I could totally see putting a live bait well there.
Bob's your uncle. It's all coated material, so it's friendly to salt. You'd like that a lot. We call it the 360 because that chair swivels, it lowers and raises, so you can get to the pedals at different angles. It's a really comfortable pedaling.
Well, that's what I was thinking, and again, I have not had the chance to try it, but just most people know that watch. I mean, I've got a really bad back, and just ergonomically speaking, the position pedaling looks more natural to me. And
when you're on a bike, you're sitting up, right? You're over the pedals, slightly forward. So it is a more familiar position. I was just thinking, we went to Paddle Sports Retailer last year and we brought a couple of prototypes. We had all our boats on the shoreline. I was kind of on the inside story. I was kind of like, really, do I need to market for another brand? Like, I don't have enough work. So I was like, oh, that was my first reaction. I remember having conversations with Marty, who was like, James, this is going to be exciting. And I'm like, I was like being selfish because I was like, man, I got this Orion thing. We're getting into the hunting world, and it's like, so I was like, okay, let's have a look at it. I went to a Paddle Sports retailer, which was in Wisconsin. They had a little demo pond, and nobody was trying anything else but the Blue Sky. So that was the thing. And the same thing happened almost every time someone went out on one. They went out, they toured around for like 15 minutes, not your token 5 minutes. Yeah, it feels really good. It's tracking really well. They went out, and it's funny because they had 2 little poles sticking out of this little pond, and they would go around one pole and they'd start doing these figure eights because this thing turns on a dime, right? So they do these figure eights, and because the hull was designed by Jim as kind of using almost sailing approach to hull design. Okay. So light to the touch, a lot of tracking power, a lot of turning power. So the speed that you generate from the FD drive is incredible, way faster than the FD. Putting the E drive engine in it, we put that in there maybe 2 weeks ago with a shoot that EJ did with a bunch of guys. Wow.
And for people who don't know what that is, it is something that's in the works. a drop-in electric motor. Drops right in. It works with the FD.
Yeah. So the current system is interchangeable with the new e-drive that will be coming up this summer. Everything about it's just so these guys were going around doing these figure eights, and you can see them like and that I don't know if you get the side shot. Maybe we can see the side shot somehow.
Well, that thing just scrolls back and forth, doesn't it, on the website?
Yeah, I'm not seeing it here live on your thing. But anyways, so there's two handles that come up from the chair. And forward is left, I think, and back is right or something like that. And it's kind of like this, and you just go like that, and the thing just turns on a dime. It's like, what? Then all of a sudden in your head, you're going, you're doing little screeches as you rip around the corners. Wow, it was a lot of fun. So the dealers would be getting, and the folks that were attending the show would get off the Blue Sky. They went on it, and as they got onto it the first time, they're kind of looking down at it. They're not really sure. Whatever. Then they'd spend 15 minutes, as I said, ripping around these little figure eights, and they'd get off of it, and their faces were just like, what? It was like their energy was palatable for sure. They were, and the same thing happened to me. I got on that thing, and I could have spent the whole day ripping around. It was a lot of fun.
So people who want to get a closer look at this is blueskyboatworks.com.
Yep,
so,
just launched yesterday. We're going to be doing a big full launch on Monday. Lots of news. Definitely like us on Facebook, Instagram. We're going to do the Twitter thing a little bit, but Facebook and Instagram for sure. The next month and a half is going to be a very big month in regards to release of information, new programs, a very unique, un-Jackson-like, if you will, process that we're about to unfold. On our website, we have an email subscription, a little form. Definitely feel free to subscribe there. When I say some really cool stuff is about to be released starting Monday, really cool stuff is about to be released starting Monday.
Yeah, I've been given a little bit of a tease of that, and you're not kidding. It's a really exciting time. For anybody who's interested in this boat, I mean, it's like I said, it's very, very cool. There is a question up there right now. Are the Blue Skies compatible with any type of small outboard?
It is because it's not a kayak. So up until now, Jackson's, for so many reasons, we haven't really been working with outboard motors. We're now walking into uncharted territory in regards to what we're doing, how we're designing. Already we do have the e-drive. It's not going to get you to 80 miles an hour, but it's going to get you pretty fast. I would probably estimate that the first generation of 360s, you'll be able to hook something up. We're not going to... We got so many other design things that we've got to solve in the first prototype and generation of that boat. So it's not going to be specifically designed for anything but the e-drive. But we're definitely going to make sure we're not in the kayak fishing realm anymore. We're in the small boat realm, and things are going to be a bit different.
Well, let's put it this way: looking at it. And looking what I've seen guys do in their own home builds, there's certainly a lot of potential for you to do whatever you want on this boat.
Yeah,
I'm hesitant to call it a kayak, but yeah,
The frame itself is square. We've got two little flat areas in the back for power poles. That's a little bit too far, maybe. There's just a lot of stuff that you can do for sure, customizing, and that's the fun part about kayak fishing. That's one of the problems that we solved. We thought we solved. We like to think we solved earlier. Was I couldn't believe how many people bought a $2,000 kayak and drilled a hole in it. I was like, why would you drill holes in it? That's crazy. So as this smaller plastic boat industry grows, the more people are going to want to do with their craft, and it's not going to stop at a torpedo engine, a motor. It's gonna keep going until all of a sudden that gap between just a kayak and a full-blown bass boat is kind of bridged. So there's a lot of bridging to happen, and I like to think that we're going to be the forefront of that bridging for sure.
I think so. And
that was a good political answer, wasn't that?
That was awesome.
You guys can quote me on that.
As someone who has drilled a lot of holes in a lot of kayaks, that first hole you drill is always a little scary. But once you get used to it, man, you just drill away. You can always fix it. You put a hole in, it's easy. That's the cool thing about this rotomolded plastic. It's, you put a hole in it you don't like, weld it shut. No big deal. Move on, do something else. And a lot of people, particularly in you people where the world is frozen, they'll spend their whole winter just tinkering and rigging up their kayak. We have a good question from Russell Johnson. What will be for the setup how will the boat be set up for transport, I guess, is what he said.
So it's cool. So one of the issues, obviously, early on that we saw was like, okay, we want to make this really big boat. Well, already, we're talking about trailers and wheels, and there's carts for kayaks. That's just for kayaks. All of a sudden we're making a double hull, 30 square feet of platform space. Another gentleman involved in the process is Rick. Rick is the story behind the boat is going to be released over the next few weeks as I can, but Rick got his hands on Jim's ideas and said, look, we need to make this practical. We threw a bunch, or a bunch of challenges were thrown. Again, we're a little bit about problem solving, so that's good. So the cool thing is it started with the wheels. So first of all, pulling a kayak out of the water, pulling this boat out of the water, we're talking between 140 and 160 pound boat. Once we're kind of done with it, and especially if you're storing gear and all that kind of stuff in there. So if you notice where the wheel setup is, the wheels are kind of cool. It's kind of a simple idea. You pull out 2 bars, you drop down the wheels, you pull the bars in while you're still in the water. You get out of you roll in, you pedal in, you get out of your boat, and you lift that tongue weight at the nose because those wheels are almost center to the boat.
Are they? That's
it's
huge.
Pretty close. You're only about 1.5 feet, 2 feet away from where the center of your weight distribution is on that boat.
That's huge.
So then all of a sudden you've got this incredible balance weight distribution thing. The tongue weight is almost nothing. Like you're literally grabbing one of those 2 rungs in the front of the boat, and you're pulling it right out of the. Obviously, we're talking about like a boat ramp or something like that. When you come to shore, you're going to have couple more challenges, but out of a boat ramp and onto gravel or onto road, the wheels are awesome. So that's the first challenge. The second challenge was, okay, this is kind of a big boat. It fits perfectly into the back of a pickup truck like we were all used to for our fishing kayaks, especially the Nissan trucks.
I'm more concerned with it fitting in my Sprinter van.
Nissan trucks, Nissan.com. So that's one thing. But obviously, not everybody has a pickup truck. So the good news is to answer. This is probably a 10-minute answer. Sorry about that. The good news is it comes apart. So the hulls pull off. There's no single piece once you part it that is over 30 pounds. So you're probably looking at 3 to 5 minutes to disassemble. There's basically these little, those little metal pins that you push down and you pull out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're done. So depends on how strong your finger is or your thumb. Or if you're a finger guy, it might take you a little longer because your fingers. So Nissan Frontier, thank you, Hausner. Hi, Justin. So super fast. Definitely as fast as you're going to take to empty everything, take your rods out, take your kayak out. It's really not slowing the process down very much. But it completely comes apart. And it's basically you stack it onto your roof rack and off you go. Nothing over 30 pounds, unless of course you're storing all your stuff in it.
And it's 13 feet.
13.4.
Okay, that will fit. That will fit in my Sprinter.
It will.
Yeah.
So definitely cool. Something that was a big part of our challenge. Okay, we got a big boat. Do we ship it with a trailer? We didn't really want to do that. We wanted to be able to, we wanted to be able to provide to everybody in convenience, storage, to transport. It's a very portable vehicle for sure. Yeah.
That's very cool. I actually went past, there was a question about what size Orion cooler. For people who do not know, this is James McBeath with Jackson Kayak, Orion cooler, and new Blue Sky Boatworks. So there is
I should have a T-shirt that just flashes through logos. I haven't figured out how to do that yet.
But there was a question before about the size of a Orion cooler that would fit.
They all will fit. So first of all, that whole back deck that you see there, and the front deck for that matter, is pretty wide. We're talking the width 40 inches of space. So there's a lot you can get onto that thing. The ones we were kind of filming with, I think, were the 35 or 45. I really can't remember, but those two decks, those two porches that you see in this image are really strong. They're all, aluminum supported and deck supported. You're basically looking at strap down space that can strap an entire camp worth of gear on the thing. So this, by the way, is just one version. There's going to be two versions coming out. One's the Angler, one's going to be the Escape. The Escape is a stripped down wreck version, if you will, or exploration version of this boat. It's not going to have the gear tracks. It's only going to have 2 hatches for storage, but it's going to be perfect for, your photographer, your outdoors person that doesn't want all the bells and whistles, lower price point. It's going to be for camping. I'm just thinking of just cruising through lakes. You get to be the gear boat, basically. You're going to have a bunch of kayakers around you, and you just load this thing with all your gear. And Bob's your uncle. You're off doing the multi-day sport thing, and there's just so many applications for sure.
Yeah. Are we allowed to talk price point yet? It's not going to be a very high price point for what you're looking at. That's Monday or Tuesday we'll be able to get a little bit more specific. We're still parting it. Okay.
We've just gone through 3 iterations of the prototype. Now we're basically setting up the BOM, the bill of materials. So, okay, well, how much is the hatch is going to cost, the hatch covers, who's going to do this, who's going to do that. So we're at the point right now where we're trying to kind of pull all that together and come up with a price. I'd say in the next little bit, and next month or so, we'll be able to have I'd say by March 1st.
Has there been a window they're shooting for? Is it going to be comparable to, say, a Hobie PA?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd say Hobie PA area. It's kind of cool because there's actually not a lot of plastic to it. So, a catamaran style craft like this actually solves a lot of little mysteries. So we can. It's certainly not going to be what everybody's calling a price point boat, but it's going to be for the platform, for what it can do. It's going to be really cost friendly for sure.
Like I said, I think a lot of people are
Bubba's already wanting to slide up his alligator bar on the thing. I'm like, this shoot, Bubba, I'm on with you. There's no let's go fly fishing with Damon crap.
Yeah, you know what?
You understand that?
Yeah, the fly. No, if you want to catch one, people don't know Bubba Bedre. I say his name wrong every time. Super guide. If you want to catch a just ridiculous ridiculously big fish, go see Bubba in Texas and go catch a giant alligator gar. I got 140 pounder or something like that. Insane fish, really, really cool. It's a dinosaur. Here's a question, and how would it handle a moderate ocean swell? And that's a question that I'm pretty interested in because, like I said, I think I can take this thing out to the kelp beds. I think it'll be an awesome stand-up platform, being in the kelp, tossing for calico bass, being out there throwing iron, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So I'm not your ocean guy. I mean, I've surfed a lot of waves in my time for sure. Excuse me. That's going to be, we brought this boat out to Louisiana, so there's not a lot of swell there. It's a swell place.
It's an awesome place.
Again, the hulls are kind of shaped by someone who kind of knows what he's doing. It is a 40 inch wide boat. There's going to be, in any swell, you're going to need to know what you're doing anyway. So if you're good at lining up your boat to go through waves and stuff like that, it is going to be able to get out there. It's going to be able to get back, no problem.
Yeah, the surf entry is always an issue anyway. The surf is always the issue for anybody, whether they're in a kayak or whether they're in this. It's having the proper skills.
I would say the good news is you're going to be able to bust through. If you do it right, you're going to be able to bust through. The speed on this thing is considerable. So, and all about the hull shape. You've got less hull to lift up, if you will, from waves going out. Waves going in, all of a sudden you've got more of a boat to flip. So I would imagine you're going to have to be careful with that and make sure you're surfing straight in. But once you're surfing straight in, there's not a lot of hull for the waves to control and take advantage of. So I think this is going to be great in moderate ocean swell and maybe even big ocean swell is always fun with any kind of craft. So big ocean swell is going to be about how good you are.
Is there any? I mean, I'm looking at the side view of it here, and for whatever reason, it's not switching over on the screen on the broadcast. But it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of rocker.
Oh,
it doesn't.
But it's a really narrow hull.
Yeah, so it's going to punch.
It's going to punch. I don't think it's going to lodge and flip, but I'll be the first to try.
Well, bring one out here. I really want to give this boat a try out in the kelp beds and maybe out at the islands, at a San Clemente Island. I mean, it just seems like it'd be an absolute blast to fish off of. I mean, and I'll be honest with you. I mean, I love the Kraken. The Kraken is made for that offshore stuff and for covering a lot of miles. But there's also that when you see the guys fishing the flats and that sort of thing and being able to stand up, my back is very jealous of that.
Sure.
And so being able to stand up on this thing out on the kelp beds and throw in the lures, it's pretty stinking appealing. Like I said, besides the Kraken, there hasn't been a boat that I've been this intrigued about in a long time.
So for open ocean, we're just so you know, we're also open water anyway. We're also looking at sail. So keep in mind, there's electric propulsion, solar propulsion, and wind propulsion. There's a lot of opportunity, if you will, with this boat because of its space and size and how high it is and how stable it is. There's so much more we can do. I did note, and everybody should note, that I said this was designed by a guy who's used to designing multi-hull and multi-hull predominantly has been sail. So this is a really good, and sail has been, close your eyes and think about catamarans, sailing boats going through surf, out through surf and back in from surf. To answer our friend's question, everything to do with a paddle sport hull shape involving getting in and out of all sorts of water has been considered here. So
incredible. So James, one more time, when should people really start seeing some more of this exciting news you were talking about earlier? James says there's some really exciting stuff coming up. So when can we see that?
Well, we have from Monday onwards, we just spent probably 4 months doing a bunch of these what we call expedition trips with a whole bunch of folk with these boats. We've captured a lot of video, we've captured a lot of photo. We have interviews, testimonials, and all sorts of fun happening. We are taking a very different approach with how we roll out this product than what Jackson or Orion Coolers is kind of used to. Like kind of giving every one of us a little bit more work to do, obviously. But so it's going to be a very unique experience for everybody, and I would say our consumers as well. And you guys are all kind of the reason we're doing this. Everybody out there is the reason we're doing this, and you guys get to come along with this really exciting ride and a new exciting brand for sure.
Yeah, and you said you showed it last year, and this was way prototype, pre-production stuff, and the buzz really got going. Because I actually was looking at a forum earlier today, and somebody was questioning whether there was really a want for this boat.
Right.
And I think you saw differently at even the demos. It got everybody excited, and it got me excited.
It's a thing. You never know until there's a pioneer, and this is kind of in whitewater. Going back to my history, in whitewater, there's always that one guy, that first guy to go down this set of rapids. We call him the guinea pig. We Rochambeau, rock, paper, scissors. Damn it, I lost again. We're holding both hands on this one. This is, and the good news is, every time we've mentioned it, there's been a big stir of information request. The dealers are excited, their consumers excited. Everybody's kind of excited about it. It's kind of fun, and I can't wait to fish off the thing.
Oh,
forget about selling the thing. Forget about working harder. I can't.
Right. Well, James and I have fished together quite a few times, and I'm thinking of Lake Traverse. When we were fishing for those muskie. Wow.
I run it down the Ottawa. I don't know
when we were in Puerto Rico and sight casting to the tarpon.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Come on, bring it. I said, I'm really excited about this boat. Again, you can see it at Blue Sky Boatworks.com, and of course all the other boats at JacksonKayak.com. And of course, what we didn't really touch on much is, maybe we can do it again another time, is all the cool stuff going on at Orion Coolers. But there is something really cool going on right now that maybe you want to mention.
Yeah, so 2017 colors. We changed up all our colors. We got a bunch of coolers on sale online right now. Go. And a pretty good price for all the 2017 colors. Everything must go. Everything must go. Here, I'll do the token Canadian amateur infomercial. Come on down. Everything must go. 2017 OrionCoolers.com. Come on down. Hey.
That was you're probably going to sell them all within 5 minutes now. I mean, who's going to want to miss out on that? And James will hand deliver it. So anyway, this has been awesome. The time has flown by. We've been on for an hour. James, thank you so much for being here with me today. Like I said, if anybody wants any more information, of course, Jackson Kayak is on Facebook, the JacksonKayak.com website, BlueSkyBoatworks.com, OrionCoolers.com. And there's always, you guys, Jackson Kayak is content producers. So there's always something cool to see. And you want to see some really cool stuff, take a look at the stuff that the whitewater guys are doing. Eric and Dane and Adam. I mean, just Raw Ortiz. I mean, these guys are crazy. And if you want to just see cool stuff, definitely check out everything from Jackson Kayak. And thanks again, James.
Thanks, Jim.
Everybody. I hope everybody can join me next Friday, same time. I'm going to have West Wes Siegler from Siegler Reels, good friend of ours. He has come out with, actually I should grab it and show you. I can reach because it just arrived. My new medium fly, Siegler fly reel. So along with all of his great lever drag reels, we have his lever drag fly reels now. And you want to hear something really cool? Wes has offered to give away one of these reels. That fly reel is a $1,200 to $1,500 reel, depending on which one he decides. So, I mean, a $1,200 fly reel we're going to give away next week, but you're going to have to be a part of this. I mean, if we don't get 100 shares, I don't know if we'll do it. I need comments. I need shares. I need participation to make him show him that it's worth his time to donate such an amazing item. James has generously gave us some stuff for this show. We got some swag from Jackson Kayak, Orion Cooler, and I will be picking a few winners for that, and I'll be posting that later. But make sure you join us next week with Wes Siegler, same time, Friday, 11 o'clock Pacific time, for your chance to win one of the new Siegler Fluff Chucker fly reels. Thanks, everybody, so much. Please share this with your friends who you think might have some interest in it. Give us that thumbs up. I'll probably repurpose this whole video, put it up on YouTube later. So if you want to go back and review it, or if you have any questions, and as always, if you have any questions for us at any time, always happy to answer them. Make sure you subscribe to these videos so you get notified anytime we're going live, so you don't miss out on all the cool stuff we're doing. And again, this is going to be a weekly thing as long as I'm in town. I'm not traveling, but we will be trying to do these as much as possible. Thanks again. Remember, everybody, please always wear your PFD and hold your paddle right side up. Take care.